A story of redemption and revenge between Endpoint and Renegades. Renegades trying to get past the top 8 performance, and Endpoint just trying to get revenge from losing this matchup in the fall major. Chiefs, this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, definitely should be an excellent match no matter which way you dice it. I think there's a lot of good points that you can look at. You know, Endpoint tends to have a much stronger counterattack game, and they tend to play a lot of defense. So if Renegades are able to get out there and apply that pressure early on, they may get the momentum that Roldez was talking about on the desk. The only problem is Endpoint has grown by leaps and bounds since the fall major. Seiko is an incredibly dangerous force and would not be surprised to see the Endpoint counterattack crack through the Renegades defense once or twice.
You got to think too, on Endpoint side of the field, they have a lot in terms of offensive firepower. You see Wave up with the ball there, but Fever's going to get a beat, forcing Seiko. Oh, that's a big whiff from Seiko, and Fever will score that goal.
Rough start to this series, to say the least. I mean, Relating Wave trying his best to hang with it, but Fever, way to understand the angles, get up in front, and Seiko, I mean, he really probably wasn't even thinking he was going to have to make a save from right there, just couldn't get up in time.
Got to get the land jitters out the way. I remember Wave saying that at the fall major after their first day. And now, looks to be part of the case here. As you see Seiko up with the ball. Gets the flip reset, uses the flip, tries to carry it past the entire Renegades defense. And Mets looking for a pass middle to Wave, but it will be blocked out. Renegades defense holding up here early.
Really got to like that patience from the Renegades defense as well. Explosions in the midfield, and that's really the big thing, is you can't get drawn too far into whatever type of air dribble Seiko's going to bring at you, because he can throw you a lot of mix-ups, and you kind of got to give him a little extra space to make sure you understand what he's doing, because he's exceptionally powerful at breaking down defenders.
See Cammy launching that one downfield. Going to bring some space here to Renegades. They get some offensive pressure. How long can they hold on to it? When Seiko's on the ball, not really that long. You see him now struggling to maintain possession. CJ will get a big clear, and now we'll see Renegades again on the offense. Haven't amounted to much, but that shot, that testing shot from Cammy, forcing a double commit. As Endpoint, they're able to get the ball downfield as well, but we haven't seen too many shots from them either.
Yeah, I'm really liking Renegade's approach as well, because both teams taking very, very deep rotation back for both sides. Seiko uncontested here as Fever coming out of his own corner, able to make a clear out to the side. But when you're so focused on making sure you don't give anything up, then you do kind of lose a little bit of ability to put extra pressure on a defense.
We're going to see exactly how much pressure Renegades can hold on to. We got 3 minutes left in this first one. Relating Wave up, looking for the win on that challenge, but will be blocked out. CJ with the touch off. Now, Seiko gets it past one. Mets are looking for a 50. Endpoint with some decent offensive pressure here. And for Renegades, I mean, this is really good. CJ looking for a shot. Almost, that one went just right off the top of the crossbar. We'll get cleared away.
Great pressure overall from Renegades. You have to like the willingness to try and drive something home right there, just off the crossbar, but that's what we're talking about. Endpoint, they tend to play a lot of defense, and Renegades slowly starting to sink their teeth in a little bit more here as Kami buying some extra time with the midfield. And Endpoint just trying to find an option to get out of their own half, reset a little bit of that field position, and have some extra space to work with, try and get it going back the other way.
We'll see how these teams handle with this midfield space. Right now, Seiko, the only one with boost and needs it. That one's going to bounce off the backboard. Fever a little bit too fast. And now, Cammy trying again. This is really good setup here for Renegades. But will they be able to hold on to the ball? Will drop down. CJ, will miss that one. Cammy gets bumped. Wave is going to shoot. And Seiko will pick up the tying goal.
Really surprised to see Renegades break down there in the midfield. I mean, CJ just totally came up empty, and Seiko got a big bite out of Cammy going back the other way. So Endpoint, they find a way to break out of their own half, and tough approach for Renegades. 2 people not able to get the hands on it and concede one that they probably feel they shouldn't have given up.
Everything seemed to be, in form there for Renegades, and just one mistake. And it's an open net look for Endpoint. Now everything's all tied up. And oh my goodness, you see Seiko with that carry, big 50 win. Able to get this one pushed through, but only for a certain amount of time. Here's CJ. Touch out. Gives that one up to Seiko. Popped into the air. What's he gonna do? Has one flip. Has 2 flips, activates them, and gets it past the defense on the goal line, but nothing doing with that play.
Gotta like the timing of Fever's approach there. Yeah, he let him have the first flip reset to make the push forward, but after that, he's a lot more committed to a trajectory, as that's gonna pinball around the blue box and gonna clear it away with Relating Waves touching. Pressure being put on here by Endpoint with the final minute remaining. Can they keep a wall up at the midfield, though? And a huge amount of space for Renegades to get a free clear, but let's see if Renegades can make it back in time for this Endpoint transition.
This is an amazing opening game here for Renegades right now. I mean, just to have the lead for so long, and then at the same time, they're forcing Endpoint as Seiko trying to get that solo play, still being stopped there. The defense from Renegades is holding on. They've been able to match the offense that Endpoint has thrown out, and 30 seconds left, we're still tied in regulation.
Oh, gorgeous catch from CJ as well, trying to force Renegades back into being the controlling players on the field. Is that one top left bar down and out? Oh, so close.
More pressure. Final few seconds on the clock. Metsonoris in an awkward spot. That one, it pinches off the post. Wait for a demo. Cammy now, slow ball. That one drops now. Ball still in the box. Can Renegades do something with it? No, it's going the other way. Does Endpoint have possession? Relating Wave gets challenged early, and that will hit the ground. Overtime in game 1.
Could have easily been Renegades' game here. A lot of tough shots to save for Endpoint's defense. And thankfully, the 4th man, the crossbar, got it done for him a couple times here in regulation. Endpoint definitely needed to make some adjustments. Renegades threatening.
Maybe a chance here. Good beat. Can CJ get this to Cammy? He will be able to have possession and has all the boost for Renegades. Gives up the ball. CJ and Fever still on the way back, just trying to recover. And CJ comes in. Rotations have been pretty good for Renegades to be able to still play on the ball, even with low boost. But there's Wave. There's Wave! Wave gonna end game 1 in overtime.
Excellent job here from Endpoint, capitalizing on a mistake. CJ and Cammy colliding, and the 3rd man back for Fever. Thinking someone was going to go for a challenge. He's ready to move forward and play support for him, and it all just collapsed right there with the team bump and Relating Waves. And thank you very much, all the way home with it.
Yeah, you know, it's great to see Renegades be able to have so much pressure and kind of command space on the field, but you have to look out for Endpoint, because Relating Wave is a quiet threat on the field always. If he has enough space, if he can take a free shot or even just have like free time to carry the ball, he will be a threat that, you know, sometimes is really hard to stop. A very slow start here for Endpoint. You saw that with that first goal scored. Renegades did a great job of holding on to it, but it just kind of fell out of their hands.
It really did. I mean, a couple of goals that Renegades felt like I probably shouldn't have let either of those ones into the net, and then, of course, end up losing it in overtime. And to top it off, the shooting was so close. Yeah. I mean, if Renegades put 2 of those shots in the top corner, there's no way Endpoint was taking that one back from them. So I think Endpoint should count themselves fortunate. They played a pretty solid game, but you got to give credit where it's due. I do think Renegades played the better game in game 1. They just didn't come away with the win.
Only 1 shot difference there, 7 shots to 8, and you can count that one that went in as the final one for Relating Wave there. So it was a pretty even first matchup between these two. And when you think about it, right, you look at Seiko, you look at just, again, he's expected to perform here on this stage.
Absolutely.
That kind of comes with a little bit of pressure. But then you look at Renegades, that drive that this team has, like they're not gonna stop. Game 2 on your screen here. Renegades definitely looking to make up for that first one. Offense a little quiet. They're able to put on the shot numbers, but they lack the goals. They just have to fix up those rotations as we get going.
You can definitely see the work that's come, the fruits of their labor being out here for 3 weeks earlier. I mean, Endpoint was a top team in Europe at one point not so long ago, the #1 team in Europe, and Renegades really giving them a run for their money there in game 1, so not to be taken lightly. Little team bump from Endpoint right there, really gonna weaken their ability to press here.
Oh man, little 3-point passing play. Relating Wave dropped that one. Mets was a little slow to get there, but we'll try this one. Gets a touch off the ceiling, tries to play the 50 out, but it's a good 50 from Cammy. Endpoint already starting things off well offensively as Seiko almost looked for another double flip reset. He's so mechanical.
That's what I was talking about. I mean, you give the ball to Seiko on the air dribble. That's why you have to be real careful about how you approach him, because if you overcommit one way or the other, he's got the ability to just flip the ball another direction and make you look stupid on defense. It's so tough to defend that guy.
Oh, that's a mistake. Will they be punished for it? They will. Endpoint strike first.
Real nice job here. Endpoint gaining early possession, never letting go. CJ overcommitting a little too far there in the corner. Needed that corner boost and kind of the play tracking itself over, bounced off the sidewall over his shoulder and just not in position to come out and attack that ball. And Renegades give up another one.
For Renegades, they're playing, I'd say, rotationally wise, positionally wise. They're in pretty good spots, but the problem is just whenever it's time to make the touch, either someone just misses or someone just barely gets the wrong touch, and then things just fall apart. Endpoint are waiting for those opportunities, and they jump on it like that,
well,
so fast.
That's the Endpoint MO, you know what I mean? That's why they play so much defense, because they're so consistent on that side of the ball, and then their ability to just point the scalpel through the tiny gap in your defense that materializes every so often is really what drives their winning ways. That's a nice save from Laden Wave away from his own net, but Renegade's first chance here to try and put some pressure on him, but nobody really in position to sit tight at the midfield and try and box Endpoint in. And that was one of the big things that I really needed Renegades to be doing consistently if I felt they needed to come out on top here.
Talking about Renegades and them being able to have offensive pressure. They're under pressure right now. You see them trying to just get things together. That's not a good touch because Seiko has the ball and it's in your net just like that. Second goal for Seiko this game.
Nice camp there from Seiko at the top of the box. Stole the corner boost, rotated out, and Kami trying his best. Really not his fault for not getting a boomer clear there. Was kind of approaching the ball from a very strange angle and unfortunately caught it a little bit higher on the ball than he would have liked, and Seiko realized it, jumped all over it.
You can see from the cams, you know, it's both teams' first match of the day. Little bit, you know, just trying to get locked in, trying to, you know, realize how things flow. And that's perfectly normal. But we've seen other teams play today with a lot of energy. And maybe that might be the difference maker here. Renegades looking a little quiet. Might need to see some of that from CJ.
They got to get something going first. And I think even if they just put a couple of nice shots on target towards the net, they'll really start to settle back in, because Game 1 was a totally different game than what you're seeing right here. I mean, Game 1, it was a very even back and forth, a lot of opportunities for both teams, and here Renegades have been struggling to even hold pressure at the midfield line, as Fever with a nice demo and Relating Wave will kind of force Seiko to buy extra time with that air dribble and put a lot of pressure on Metza to try and keep the ball over on the orange half.
Fever now playing this in the corner. Good help from CJ. That's pass two. Metza needs a bit challenge here. Loses it. Is there anyone there for Renegades? Cammy at the goal line. And it's blocked out. Endpoint got back in time, and they put up a defensive wall.
What a great save from Endpoint, to be honest. No idea how they kept it out. You thought for sure that the angle of the approach was going to be absolutely perfect for Renegades, and Metza just comes in as support and just skates that ball along the floor and out to safety. And now you're kind of scratching your head if you're Renegades, because that definitely felt like something that could get you back into the game. And still down 2 here and starting to look down the barrel of a sweep.
Looking likely, unless we see some magic from Renegades here. Final minute. Infield pass. Cammy just going to give that to Seiko. Off the ceiling. Does get a flip, but it's a good read from Fever to block out. Still, these 50s not looking good for Renegades. They're under so much pressure. Still haven't been able to get the ball out. Finally, they can start the transition. That's a shot, but it's high, and oh my goodness, what a play!
Whoa, Fever, way to go up and get this one. I mean, pass to CJ, and how about the read from Cammy? My goodness, Fever's gonna steal away a gorgeous catch from Cammy. That's all Cammy as far as I'm concerned.
Listen, you said they needed something to get back into it. I think that was it. Now they just got to build more on this momentum. Final 30 seconds. Renegades with the ball out in front. It looks awkward. There's a demo.
Oh my gosh.
Fever won't be able to get to the ball, tries to redirect it. CJ pops it up high. And this one might fall. Time ticking down. Renegades got to move. That one from Wave. Cammy looking for another touch out. Seiko has the read, looking for the double, and just blocked out before he can make contact. Metz plays that off the ceiling, but with 10 seconds left, Renegades have to move this ball downfield. Wave trying to kill all of the time, and with that touch from Seiko, it might have just happened. One final bounce, and going the length of the field isn't the task that they're up for. Oh my goodness, this ball is still in the air. Will bounce off the corner, but that bump will do it. Endpoint put this one on match point.
Definitely a rough ending for Renegades. I mean, what a redirect. Like you said, I wanted it to be the one to get him back into it, but unfortunately it feels too little too late right there, and Endpoint doing a nice job playing keep away to close out game 2. And now you're in a very difficult position here for Renegades. You kind of got locked down a little bit. Not a lot of shots for Endpoint, but in general, just a lot of time on the orange half of the field. Even if it's not being converted into scoring chances, they had a comfortable lead for the entirety of the game. So Endpoint knew they didn't have to press particularly hard. It was just, okay, we just make sure we don't do anything stupid, and you're going to have to make Renegades make plays like that to get one on the board.
Yeah, and for Renegades now, you know, it's a match point situation. Endpoint, they did really solid in terms of just holding them off that game, but you see the potential there. So my thing is, okay, now that we know, you know, the pop-off potential, so to speak, can they continue to build off that? It's really tough to see because, you know, you also look at them and, again, they're so focused, they're so locked in, whereas Endpoint, they play very loose. You know, Relating Wave said it, you know, they like to have fun.
Yeah.
And that really helps kind of alleviate any type of pressure to perform.
Certainly. When you feel comfortable and you're having a good time, I mean, it's it's tough to really get too tilted. So Endpoint, very comfortable position. What you need to see out of Renegades here at the start of Game 3, they have to be the ones in the driver's seat, putting the pressure on that Endpoint defense, and it looks like they're trying to do just that, trying to get physical and open up some extra space to work with.
That goal we saw Renegades score last game happened so fast. I didn't even realize it was Cammy that dropped it down. I thought it was a mistouch from someone from Endpoint. Now, that's how fast it was. I was like, oh my goodness, wait.
Oh.
Cammy on the ball.
No.
And you saw there was a chance there for a pass, but it looked like somebody was covering it, and I feel like that's why they tried to go there on the side into the corner. But as you see, Endpoint now they have possession, they're moving upfield. This is a tough save needed. He gets bumped, and the save is there.
Great support from Renegades, realizing that was going to be a very tough save, but so much pressure from Endpoint. There's the counterattack.
There it is.
It's the one air dribble. They push you back, force you to make kind of an awkward touch. You're out grab and boost, and all they got to do is just pop one into the middle, and someone will be there for it more often than not.
Great shot to finish that play off. And counter attacks from Endpoint have always been super dangerous. Can CJ get one back? He's looking for a play out, but won't be able to. Now things have to reset here for Renegades, but Endpoint in the driver's seat in Game 3.
You got to be very careful there if you're Renegades. Whenever you get a free ball punted at you like that, it's all about how you hang on to it. Gorgeous pass, and what a shot. Cammy gonna slot one bottom left corner, courtesy of the delivery.
Hey, you talked about passes. I think they heard you, because look at this. That's such a good delivery because you don't know where Fever's gonna send that touch. Endpoint recognized it at the last second, and the power behind that, that's beautiful. Renegades back in this game, as boy, oh boy, they have not given up yet.
You love to see them coming out here. It's exactly what I wanted to see out of Game 3. Put more pressure on them. A tough option there, trying to go straight into the top of the net, but didn't quite have the timing. And great job pushing Seiko off the ball as well. If you're the first man up to challenge Seiko on one of those air dribbles, it doesn't really matter if you don't even hit the ball. As long as you hit him, you're going to take away a lot of that breakdown potential on your defenders and make it that much easier for the people behind you to make the play. So just as valid to hit him off the ball as it is to take it away from him.
Trying to make Seiko uncomfortable. Seems like a hard task. He almost put that one top right. The demo for the second man follow-up saves things here for Renegades. Cammy with that demo on Metza Norris. Now Metza back, but there's another play here from Fever. Plays the 50 in the corner. Lots of bodies there from Endpoint to make sure they block the ball. As that one pinches off the corner. Renegades have to kind of control this. They know that potential that Endpoint have when it comes to the counterattack. That level of threat that is just so high, especially when you see Seiko on top of the ball, almost looked for a follow-up, tried to get a good read. Things was trying to settle here in the midfield.
Oh my goodness.
CJ, what a redirect.
The vision from Renegades here across to the opposite end, out to the side to keep it away from Metza, and CJ, full send. See if you get a gorgeous touch on it. Yes, he does. Outdoes the defender there. Well-deserved shot. Renegades with a lead, 2.5 minutes. On the road back.
CJ might not have Seiko mechanics, but he knows how to pressure a team. He knows how to shoot the ball. That's absolutely right. Halfway through this game, and you know, Renegades keeping everyone's eye open.
Certainly. You got to keep Endpoint honest. I mean, if they get too comfortable, then they will absolutely just stomp all over you at the midfield line like happened last game. So I respect CJ's option there to just jump at that one and try and go for a sick redirect, because that's not an easy shot to take. And you got to put the pressure on him and make sure that Endpoint continue to send a deep rotation back, so you have at least a little extra time on your half to keep putting the pressure and start your own counterattacks.
Renegades looking for a counterattack of their own right now. Everyone pretty low on boost, though, so they'll have to go back. And you can see Endpoint just waiting for their moment. Wave goes up. Will he find the double? No, won't be able to. Metza tries to follow up there, and that play is denied. Now it's Fever. Can Seiko get the block? There's the flip reset. Activated, and Seiko with the read. Great save.
Great poise from Seiko there. Very easy to overdo your approach and making sure he didn't give up too much of the goal there on his line towards the challenge. Love the defense. Seiko with command in front of the orange net and taken away by Fever.
Fever still on top of this ball, looking for another one, and will find it.
He's just all the way through there out of nowhere. I didn't think that he was going to be able to break everybody. Oh, I believe Metza, I think he hit Fever, and Relating Wave wasn't expecting some extra power, and so it went over Relating Wave's head. He just couldn't make it back.
It's just those little things. And now Renegades totally in a position to hold on to a 2-goal lead. Do they want more? They are looking for more. Good cut from Seiko. You saw the pass come out. CJ, if he would have got to that ball, could have been a 4-1 game. But Endpoint aren't done.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Seiko trying to get real cheeky there. See if he could go for the fake on the ground instead of out of the air. And thankfully, Renegades staying collected on defense, not letting Endpoint back into the game. 45 seconds, you can feel comfortable, but it's not a gimme by any stretch.
Endpoint moving upfield. Seiko just instantly challenged. And then it's a good one from CJ. Fever on top of the ball. It pinches up high. Cammy with a win on that 50. And all Renegades have to do is control the pace of play, and they play on. And as time ticks down, it does look like they're doing that very well. You can see them. They're not even driving upfield. They're giving the ball completely to Endpoint, saying, do whatever you want, waste as much time as possible. As long as we can protect the net, that's all we need. Final few seconds ticking down. And this series is going to move on to a Game 4. As we see Renegades strike back here in this third match, they finally figured out what works.
Excellent job from Renegades. It started off with aggression. They didn't let up too often. They kept their foot on the gas pedal. That's really all I wanted to see out of them, and they delivered. A lot of really great challenges on defense as well to take away some of those more dangerous Endpoint setup opportunities. And you really can't complain about anything from either team, to be honest. I think Renegades put in a couple of excellent shots on target, and when you get some really nice outplay shots like that redirect from CJ, you're going to hold on to a lead when you have a team like Endpoint who's going to play so counterattack heavy, because you get out in front early like that, they took what Endpoint did in the previous game. It's like, all right, let's just sit on it.
Yeah, and it's not like Renegades are taking a lot of shots here either. I mean, they took 5 that game, but if you look at the numbers, they only missed 2. You know, 50% shooting from Cammy, 50% from Fever, and the one shot CJ took scored. Besides that, they played just a rotational game of Rocket League, and that's all you really need to shut down Endpoint, is just make sure that there's someone constantly on the ball, because again, they can't counterattack if they don't have space. So if you deny them that space, then it becomes an entirely different problem for them. And I don't know if you guys heard it, but we heard it. There is some screaming going on in the venue right now.
Some chaos somewhere on a Rocket League pitch. But Endpoint, I don't think you have to be too worried. I think that one the previous game, I should say, resembled Game 1 a lot more, as that was almost a goal. I didn't even know Metza was up for that. That would have been quite a tough one to defend for Renegades. Very fortunate it's off the wall.
Renegades on defense right now, but will easily clear it away off the missed touch from Seiko.
And you also had a lot of vision from the passing from Renegades in the previous game. A lot of movement of the ball all the way across the pitch, really trying to continue to space out that Endpoint defense and give them a little more room to work with. And we'll see if they can bring that back to bear here in Game 4 as well.
Yeah, the passing is really the big factor here. As another pass comes through, Cammy puts on a shot, forcing Wave to dive for that one. Seiko up, and CJ on that back wall, but no boost, so We'll just watch CJ float down.
Run away, buddy. You got a long rotate back with
Hurry
no
up and
boost.
get back. Cammy left him the back boost, and he's going to need that. Metza Norris leaves that one waved. They're looking for the extra pass, but they just can't find an open angle. Renegades doing a great job of covering their goal line on the defense.
Some free time here for Endpoint to go on the counterattack, and this could start something special as Fever kind of forced into a touch there, and indeed pressing our Endpoint. That's a nice clear to just pop that off the wall, because Endpoint was going for the demos, they were going for the dump into the middle, and that's when you need to find a nice strong clear out past the middle to give yourself time to recover.
Double for Mets, triple from Metza Norris. What, you kidding me?
Every now and again, Metz has got one in the back pocket. Here it is. What a catch off the wall and way to stick with. Oh, I think he got four there.
He did.
Give him the extra one, too. Way to stick with it. So easy to jam the car into the ball there and pinch it across the net, but doesn't overdo the approach. Gets Endpoint out in front early.
Then another shot. This time it's from Wave, and here come Endpoint.
Two people stuck in the net. They want boost off the kickoff, and that's just a poor challenge from Fever. And CJ, knowing he's not going to make it, tries to cover a lot of the net, and nobody going to catch that one. Relating Wave right over the back shoulder of both defenders. Really just the placement of the ball getting it done a lot more than anything else.
Two back-to-back goals here for Endpoint. Now you start to look on the other side of the field. Can Renegades, who had, I'd say, really good defense this series, can they control the chaos?
And you find yourself in that very similar situation that you did in Game 2 as well. Endpoint, they came out to an early lead there and really didn't relinquish hardly any of it, because I would not be surprised to see Endpoint turtle up, send a deep back player, and then a very delayed challenge just to make sure that they're really set on defense, because now they know they don't have to press. And in a game where shot attempts in general have come at quite a premium, I think this is Endpoint's type of game that they love to play.
Cammy, touch out, but no one can follow that up from Renegades. Meanwhile, Relating Wave used every inch of the boost there to put a shot on. Now has to race back as Seiko's stuck on the back wall. Wave did not get that boost. It goes to Renegades, but with the little he has, still goes up to make it 50. More pressure from Renegades as a quick shot comes out from Cammy and Metza Norris trying to hold on to it. But this is the best drive we've seen from Renegades this game, as we're under the 2-minute mark. They need more like that if they want to come back.
I like the idea from Cammy. Unfortunately, the catch was just a little hard, and that means Endpoint trying their best to just keep it locked in, waste as much time as possible, and Fever drops his air dribble as well. Renegades struggling to get their hands on the ball, and thankfully one back in time to make a save.
Both of those players played the 50, and no one touched it. I love that. Renegades, though, still with some offensive possession. Oh, that's a touch out in the open space. 50. And CJ
no one's
puts
there.
it there. Seiko's going to take the shot. Can Cammy get back in time? The answer is no. 3-goal lead for Endpoint.
That's just a breakdown of communication somewhere. Either CJ overdid his approach there and mishit it, or he thought someone was going to be coming around for that, because otherwise I don't know how you just dump that ball into the middle. There's no way. If he knows no one's going to be there, he must have overdid his approach. Either way, big mistake from Renegades, and justly punished to really put this series on ice, I feel, for Endpoint.
Yeah, it's been tough. You know, especially, you look at CJ, definitely some really good moments like we saw last game, but also that's another one that he might look back into. And, the weight of that when you're at the major, it just hits that much harder, some of the mistakes. They're trying to get it back, though, here, 55 seconds left. There's a shot blocked out by Endpoint. Renegades still up here playing offense as Fever looks for a shot, but you can definitely tell the tide has shifted, and Endpoint are in the driver's seat.
They should be there, to be honest. They've played a very collected series, never really overcommitting in any particular direction, or at least if they did, it was seldom to none. And they honestly deserve a win here, but Renegades, I think that 3-week boot camp has done them a lot of good. It is no easy feat to come out here and keep a team that is dangerous as Endpoint is off the boards as often as they did. And despite coming up short here 3-1 at the end of this series, you cannot count them out in that Group B, that is for sure.
Time ticking down. Endpoint will take this series in 4. A good start to their major run as, man, Renegades put up a tough fight. But at the end of the day, Endpoint are here and they're showing it.